Sawmill. Today we got a big black walnut veneer log. I actually cut these ones down. This one's a veneer, the other two are just some smaller logs to make 1x8 and maybe 1x6s. This one's probably 1x6s. It's got a sweep in it, but this one here is the big veneer log. There's a little sweep at the very end, but not much. I'm going to measure it, see how big it is. So on this end, we got, looks like inside the bark, we got 19 inches one way and 23 the other way. If I remember right, this was growing on a field edge. So it's kind of going to be bigger one way than the other because it was leaning. So this end down here, we probably have, well, looks about 21 inches maybe, and 24. So it's pretty even on the widest way, and the narrow way it tapers a little bit. So we should be able to get some nice 1x12s out of the jacket lumber, and then we'll see what the grain looks like. If it changes too much, we'll have to saw some 2-inch. But for the most part, we should be pretty clear for the first 4 boards off each side, and then we'll have to deal with the pith. So we should be able to yield quite a bit of lumber. This is probably 165 board feet in this log. So we'll see what we can yield. And then if you guys want to come with and watch us saw this up, should take us just probably 40 minutes. So if you guys want to tag along, join Orr Sawmills Timber Tales, and we're just going to work on this one, and we'll see if we can get to the other ones. So thanks for watching. On these big logs and the veneer logs, you want to really line up the center on the pith. Normally I'll just start sawing and guess close to the pith, but on these ones we want to be almost perfectly centered, so we don't waste nothing. So it looks like the pith is right up here, so it's a little off center. We're 14 inches on that end. It looks like we're 14 inches on this end. I might raise it up a little bit because there's a sweep. So most trees, they're not going to be here all the way through because at a certain point the limbs break off in the middle. The closer to the center you get, the more likely you're going to find a knot. So on these high value boards, you always want to try and line up the biggest knots on the corner, because that way you get the most yield per volume on the board of select grade. So this one comes out the corner on both sides. That's a perfect spot for a knot. This one is hard to do that, but for the most part you want your big knots on the edge in the corner, so that way the closer to the center you get, that knot will disappear or stay on the side of the board. You can edge that out of your select one. So I'm just going to splash some water on this and show you the grain in this walnut. I cut this 5 months ago down. I actually went on the property and cut it down, but here we got the beautiful black walnut grain. It's a little greenish now. It'll darken after it oxidizes, and this sapwood will slowly disappear if you let it oxidize. So here, this outside was exposed to the air. It actually darkened inward. So your sapwood will actually be a little bit less after you let it oxidize, because it'll start to turn more brown further out. So the longer you air dry it, the more dark walnut material you're going to get, and the more valuable timber you're going to have in each board. So for those who asked about the sawdust, we typically just compost the walnut stuff in our green pile, and then the pine sawdust and mix of sawdust that goes usually to customers for sheep, goats, horses. So we try to keep that just pine. That way they can use it for the horses, because horses cannot have walnut, they cannot have cherry. So we try to keep that separate, but most of this in here that's left is going to get composted, and we're going to give that to, we'll put that on the pastures after it breaks down in 1.5 to 2 years. So Matt, here you can go take them out and show them how the logs come in. My brother's hauling some logs in today. But that's just logs that came off the tree service, so we're just hauling them on a hay rack because it was close. But typically they come in on a semi. So everything here typically comes off a tree service job. I buy a lot of tree service wood, as long as it comes from a lot clearing or a yard that doesn't have close to the house trees. So my brother actually cut these down a couple months ago. My younger brother has a tree service, so he cuts them to length for me. I buy them from him. That way it helps him make out a little bit better on the tree service jobs. He can charge a little bit better price for the customer, because he's getting a little bit on my end. So it helps him do some cheaper, affordable tree jobs, because the logs are getting bought by me, so he can afford to keep doing what he does. So these are just pine logs. These are gonna be cut into 2x6s, 2x4s, because they've been sitting a while already. They should have been picked up a while ago, because the beetles are in them already now. They get into the young sapwood real quick, so you want to saw them right away. So that's why they're going to be made into 2x4s and 6s. I'll throw those in the kiln, kill the insects, and then people can buy them for tree stands, hunting stands, whatever they want to do. So my brother's going to keep unloading these, and we're going to get back to sawing the black walnut. This is my oldest brother. So he's helping my younger brother move the logs off the tree service job, and then we're just cutting up custom orders. So we need walnut for the store, so we're going to keep stocking up on walnut. So we're going to get back to milling this big black walnut. Hopefully we get a few more clear boards off this one side. Looks like we've reached the center, almost on the other two sides. So we could probably get a couple more boards out of this side with a couple knots on that end, but I want to get 1x12s, so I'm going to slice down this cant down here. I'll probably stop at some point, maybe when I get to 10 inches. We'll see how many knots are in this edge, and then we'll saw some 1x10s or 1x8s depending on how many knots are left. And then the centers, I always cut those 2-inch. At least they can be used at least half the board for table legs or furniture or shelves, because they will split because there's a lot of timber stress. So you guys can keep following us, and we're going to saw this up a little bit more. So the closer you get to the center, the more the knots start to show up. Right here, there's a bigger knot. So what we like to do, we'll show you the grain quick. So right here, there's a bigger knot. This whole section from here around that is going to be junk once you need it for furniture. I mean, you can leave it in the whole center of the board if you're using the whole board, but if you're ripping strips and stuff out of it, you can't have that. So what I like to do, once you get to a spot where you think the board quality is going down, so here's the center of the log. It's about 3.5 inches to the center there. So then we flip that 180 degrees, and we'll take some off of this other side to get the center of the pith, about 3.5 on this side. And then I can flip this and take off a couple boards off this side where they're nicer quality boards. So we want to take some boards off this side yet and get some clear boards, but first we want to take them off this side, which is 12 inches, and get some nice 1x12s first, and then we'll cut the can down to like a 1x10 or 1x8 to get some nice clear 1x8 as well. We're turning with the can first because we don't want to use that stuff up the boards, because these boards are worth so much you don't want to put gougers in down here. This part gets thrown away anyways, so we use a can hook when we get down to the more valuable boards. So just like that, we got most of the main boards cut out of that log. There's a few 1x8s. We got mostly 1x12s. So we typically don't like to have this damage in the end down here. So this is a stump pull. So when I cut it, the fiber pulled out. We're supposed to bore them out. I did this in the winter and I thought it would just pop, but it didn't pop. It tore out. So that's what it got left with. But most of these are cut 8 inches long, so that damage won't be in the board. But these will be discounted. They have knots in them anyways, so it's not a huge loss. It's just not what you want to have in your walnut boards. So typically you got to bore those trees out to get the high valued boards out of them in the end, because they will fiber crack at the stump. And we use our spiraled stickers for this, drying these lumber. I typically like 4 stickers. We could put 5 in, but I think it's a little overkill. Walnut's pretty stable to begin with when it's drying. So we got spiraled stickers here. It allows for airflow diagonally across it, and there's peaks where they were machined higher. So you get a better dry airflow through the pile when it's in the kiln. So I'm gonna splash some water on here. We'll show you what grain we ended up with out of these boards. I like the ones with the knots. They got a little more character to it. Like right there's a little bit prettier. But a lot of people do like the clear, which is on this board. The nice straight grain. Looks beautiful on cabinets, furniture, and whatnot. So there's people that like both. There's people that want this knot character in their walnut because they want to see all the different grain changes. And then there's people that only want select. It's personal preference. It's also cheaper for stuff with knots, but the select clear grain is sometimes more desirable for high-end customers. So we shoot to have clear grain in almost all the logs, but you can only saw what the log has in it, and we can only yield what we can get out of the log sustainably without having sweep, without having big knots, defects, breaks, and whatnot. So sometimes we just have to saw what the log gives us. So like these logs here, we got a couple that this one here has a loose center, so the tree started dying and the center's popping out, and it's got a crack that's starting, but that's not going to be a big deal. And then they have sweeps in them. They have big knots, like right here. You see this nodule, kind of a bump. The grain changes a little bit in the bark. There is a limb underneath that. That's going to be in each board. And then this one, there's a sweep right at the end. So all these boards are going to have a sweep at the last 1.5 foot of the boards. So those are all be number 2 or 3 boards, depending on how they dry and how you can rip them out. And then all this jacket lumber from this walnut that we sawed, this is mostly clear, so this will be number 1s. And then depending on how far the sapwood goes out of these boards, they might be number 2s. So like this one, this sapwood, once you dry it, it should get rid of some of that sapwood and be more dark, but until we dry it, we don't know. I'm ripping off an inch and a half to 2 inches off this side anyway, so most of that sapwood's going to be gone right from the get-go. So if you guys are new to the channel, thanks for watching. I appreciate the views, and if you guys want to like, share, and subscribe, that helped me grow a lot better. We are growing fast. I think we're up to almost 1,900 subscribers now, so if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to keep making videos and hopefully show you guys anything you guys want to see in the future. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.